Menginjak usianya ke-63, UST menunjukkan kiprahnya pada dunia pendidikan. Dengan visi unggul dalam memuliakan dan mencerdaskan kehidupan bangsa berdasarkan ajaran taman siswa, UST membawa misi melaksanakan pendidikan dan pembelajaran dengan teknologi informasi, penelitian, pengabdian pada masyarakat, pengembangan budaya nasional, dan ajaran luhur taman siswa, serta pengembangan jejaring dan kemitraan dengan institusi dalam dan luar negeri.
UST memiliki kelebihan atau keunggulan dibanding perguruan tinggi lain. Karena UST bukan hanya menyelenggarakan tridharma perguruan tinggi, tetapi UST menyelenggarakan 4 dharma atau catur dharma perguruan tinggi dengan menambah 1 dharma yang keempat, yaitu pelestarian dan pengembangan kebudayaan nasional. Kelebihan lain UST adalah di dalam menyelenggarakan catur dharma perguruan tinggi, UST menerapkan ajaran taman siswa, yaitu ajaran yang berkaitan dengan nilai-nilai luhur kebangsaan, kerakyatan, budi pekerti, cinta ibu pertiwi, dan lain sebagainya, dalam rangka memperkokoh rasa persatuan dan kesatuan bangsa untuk mewujudkan masyarakat Indonesia yang adil, makmur, tertib, damai, salam bahagia berdasarkan Pancasila dan Pancadharma Taman Siswa. Salah satu ajaran Taman Siswa yang sampai saat ini masih dipakai oleh Kementerian Pendidikan dan Kebudayaan adalah lambang Garuda Cakra dan semboyan Tutwuri Handayani. Dengan semangat perjuangan dan pemikiran luhur atau pemikiran brilian Ki Hajar Dewantara, UST selalu meningkatkan peran nasionalnya di dalam melestarikan dan mengembangkan kebudayaan nasional serta memajukan pendidikan nasional sesuai dengan perkembangan zaman yang dibutuhkan oleh masyarakat masa kini dan yang akan datang.
Penyelenggaraan Dharma keempat ini diarahkan untuk kemajuan adab yang dapat memperkokoh persatuan dan kesatuan bangsa Indonesia.
Jadi memang sejak awal Ki Hajar sudah mewanti-wanti kita agar mampu ber-SBII supaya tidak ketinggalan zaman. S adalah sifat, B adalah bentuk, I irama, dan I lagi isi. Sifat tidak boleh berubah, tapi bentuk, isi, dan irama boleh berubah mengikuti perkembangan zaman. Oleh karena itu, tugas pendidikan atau pengajaran Taman Siswa untuk melahirkan sifat-sifat karakter ngandel, kendel, bandel, kandel itu sangat ditekankan oleh Ki Hajar. Ngandel artinya percaya adanya Tuhan, kendel artinya berani, dan bandel artinya tahan banting, dan kandel artinya percaya diri, tidak gampang ambruk. Ini menjadi tugas pendidikan membentuk manusia semacam itu.
Pagi masih muda. Pesona alam Nusantara konsisten tawarkan bahagia. Dari sebuah kota kecil Salatiga, kami menyapa. Di sini kami ditempa Universitas Kristen Satya Wacana. Predikat miniatur Indonesia tersemat. Di UKSW kami belajar tanpa sekat, dekat layaknya sahabat. Tetap menapak, kami kecil namun berdampak. Berdaya cipta, kreatif hingga berpikir kritis. Menjadi pionir untuk sebuah tujuan, berikan pelayanan untuk pendidikan.
Memacu motivasi untuk terus kembangkan diri, penuhi bekal untuk masa depan yang menjanjikan. Saya percaya dari kampus inilah kesuksesan akan datang.
Tentu saya mempunyai alasan yang kuat mengapa UKSW saya pilih sebagai tempat studi saya. Selain dari sisi akademis, ada hal karakter lain yang saya belajar dari tempat ini, yaitu kerjasama. Karena mahasiswa yang begitu beragam, memicu para mahasiswa untuk mengerti nilai toleransi.
Di UKSW, kami akan menjadikan Anda pemimpin masa depan, yaitu mereka yang akan melakukan perubahan-perubahan di tengah masyarakat menuju ke keadaan yang lebih baik. Kami menyebut mereka minoritas yang berdaya cipta, creative minority.
UKSW benar-benar telah mempersiapkan saya dan seluruh alumninya dengan nilai-nilai, dengan sikap, dengan keterampilan dan pengetahuan untuk mengantisipasi masa depan. Saya pikir itu adalah cara pembelajaran yang sungguh luar biasa.
Satya Wacana sebagai Indonesia Mini ini bisa terus dipertahankan. Dan selain itu, prestasi akademik Satya Wacana juga bisa terus dipertahankan sebaik mungkin. Itulah cara kita berkontribusi. Dan itu pula yang membuat kami sebagai alumni tetap bangga dengan alma mater kami.
Demi kemajuan bangsa, kami tak boleh lelah. Bertransformasi menjadi agen perubahan, kami hadir menjawab tantangan. We are the creative minority.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this ELT sharing session 4. Before the webinar is started officially, let me greet the attendees first. To all attendees of this webinar, how are you today?
You're great, Pak Binawan.
Pak Binawan.
Thank you.
Life is good so far.
Life is good, yay.
Yes, I do hope that you are all in a good condition, good health. Thank you for participating in this webinar in this fine Saturday morning. We have participants from many institutions, of course, this morning. How are you? And warm greeting for me to the participants. My name is Mr. Bin, Heribertus Binawan. Very nice to meet you here virtually. Let me check the chat box first. Okay. I will also greet participants joining through YouTube live streaming, possible. Good day, sir and madam. Later on, during this session, you are invited to ask questions to the speakers by typing your questions in the chat box directly in this Zoom meeting or in YouTube, if possible. And the committee will check your questions and then pass it to me. We have the committee who will ready to help you as well. Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? Our webinar is about to begin. And allow me to read the rules of this webinar. Okay, the rules of the webinar. Number one, the registration link could only be accessed through this link. And then number two, this session will perform 4 presenters. And there will be 1 moderator that will lead the event. Number 3, during the webinar, participants could turn on their webcam. However, the host will deactivate the participant's microphone until we come to the Q&A section. Number 4, participants are supposed to join the webinar from the beginning until the end of the section. Number 5, only those who fill in the exit ticket at the end of the webinar who will get the e-certificate. An exit ticket will be given to participants at the end of the section. Number 5, only those who fill in the exit ticket, number 6, in this event, both moderator and presenters will use English. Number 7, each presenter will have 25 minutes to deliver his or her thoughts, and that will be followed by another presentation from different presenter. All participants could give questions to the presenters through chat box, though we'll also invite you to give questions using mic. So actually we have 2 sections for the questions and answer. The first section will be questions from the chat box, and the second will be the live, and you can use the mic. Number 9, the presentation slides from the presenter will be shared before the event ends. Number 10, follow PPI USD, PPI UKSW, PPI USD, PPI UMBY, Instagram, and Facebook for the next webinar information. Thank you very much for preparing yourself to join the webinar. Excellencies, distinguished guests, participants, ladies and gentlemen. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Peace be upon you. Good morning. I am Heribertus Binawan, the moderator of today's webinar. And I am delighted to welcome you to the ELT Sharing Sessions 4. Before we start, let me also share to you the rundown of this webinar. 9 o'clock, The MC as well as the moderator will open the event. It was. And then 9 to 9:05, welcoming speech from the Dean of Teachers, Training and Education Faculty of UMBY. And then 9:05 to 9:30, the first speaker, Bapak Erio RP Fangide, SPDM Home, will deliver his talk entitled Taking the Road Less Traveled, Creative Writing Classes and Social Media. 9:30 to 9:55, the second speaker, Bapak Daniel Ari Widyatama, SPDM Home, will deliver his talk entitled Orchestrating Edu-Tech and Literature to Promote Critical Thinking and Creativity. 9:55 to 10:20, the third speaker, Ibu Heni Herawati, PhD, will deliver her talk entitled Reframing Literature in Language Learning, Digital Tools for Student Engagement and Creativity. 10:20 to 10:45, the fourth speaker, Bapak Azairin Eko PMS, will deliver his talk entitled A Growing Trend in Literary Studies, from Printed Text to Movies. 10:45 to 11:20, question and answer sections. For the first section is coming from the chat box, and then the second section for the live question and answer. So you can use your mic on the second section of this Q&A. 11:20 to 11:30, concluding remark from all the presenters. 11:35 to 11:45, the exit ticket will be shared to the participants and the event will be closed by the MC. Thank you. His Excellency the Vice Dean of Faculty of Education and Teacher Training Universitas Mercu Buana Yogyakarta, Mr. Agustinus Hari Setiawan, SPD MA. The respectable speakers of today's webinar, Dr. Deborah Tri Ragawanti, I'm sorry. All the respectable speakers of today's webinar, now we come to the speech from the Vice Dean.
Yeah.
It will be represented by Mr. Hari Setiawan.
Yeah.
Time is yours, Pak Hari.
Oke, Pak Binawan. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, all dear participants, colleagues, and dear guests. First of all, let's thanks to the God, the most gracious and the merciful. On behalf of the Teachers Training and Education Faculty, it's with a great pleasure that we welcome you all in this occasion, for ELT sharing session 4 entitled Promoting Literature through Edu-Technology. At the first place, I would like to offer our very welcome to our guest speaker from many universities here. First, thank you, Pak Erio F. Fangedai, SPDM Home from Universitas Kristen Satya Wacana. Then Pak Daniel Ari Widyatama, SPDM Home from Universitas Mercu Buana Yogyakarta. And then Bu Heni Herawati, PhD from Universitas Sanata Dharma. And then, oh, wait for a minute. It's my bad. Pak Azairin Eko, PMS from Universitas Sarjana Wiyata Taman Siswa. We are also delighted to welcome all participants from all of the places in this country virtually. And we are very grateful once again for this. We are gathered here near or far from many places that work in the academic community, of course. We are unified by a common context here and concern about the title itself, promoting literature through Edu-Technology. It's about how we need and how we change our mindset and behavior toward this. That's why to face those challenges, yeah, we have the duty to make contributions in the current problem in to technology of literature. Yeah. Then we continue to see literature as dynamic and rich entity, of course, capable of making significant contribution to the global society and follow the dynamic changing of technology. Yeah, this is the main point. Yeah, about the technology. Then once again, thank you for the committee for the tremendous effort in organizing this ELT sharing session 4. I'm honored to welcome all of you to this occasion and wish that all of us will be more helpful and enriched at the end of our encounter. That's all from me as the on behalf of Teacher Training and Education Faculty, Universitas Mercubuana Yogyakarta, and also the committee. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Terima kasih Pak Binawan and all the speaker and participant.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Pak Hari, for the speech. This ELT sharing session 4 is hosted by Pendidikan Bahasa Inggris Universitas Mercubuana Yogyakarta in collaboration with Pendidikan Bahasa Inggris Universitas Sarjana Wiyata Taman Siswa Yogyakarta, Universitas Kristen Satya Wacana Salatiga, and Universitas Kristen Satya Wacana Salatiga and Universitas Sanata Dharma Yogyakarta. This webinar to bring together academia, researchers, teachers, lecturers, and who are concerning the issues in English language teaching. In this pandemic situation, we face online learning situation, and this makes us attached with technology and learner autonomy. And especially for today, we have some issues concerning literature, how to bring literature to the class, and how to engage students to the literature discussion, and how to bring students shifting from the text to the digital, and some other issues. Excellencies, participants, ladies and gentlemen, we are now going to introduce you to the speakers today. The first speaker is Bapak Erio RP Fangide, SPD MHUM, will deliver his talk entitled Taking the Road Less Traveled, Creative Writing Classes and Social Media. And then the second speaker, Mr. Daniel Ari Widyatama, SPD MHUM, will deliver his talk entitled Orchestrating EduTech and Literature to Promote Critical Thinking and Creativity. The third speaker, Ibu Heni Herawati, PhD, will deliver her talk entitled Reframing Literature in Language Learning Digital Tools for Students' Engagement and Creativity. The fourth speaker, Bapak Hazairin Ekope, MS, will deliver his talk entitled A Growing Trend in Literary Studies from Printed Text to Movies. Before we start the presentation for the first speaker especially, let's know the regulation how the presentation will be going on. So first, I'd like to give the time to Bapak Erio to present the material for about 25 minutes. To all attendees in Zoom room or in Facebook, you are invited to ask questions by typing it in chat box, and also you may be prepared to have live question and answer in the last session of today's webinar. Now allow me to welcome the first speaker, Mr. Erio RP Fangide SPD, M.Hum. To deliver his presentation entitled Taking the Road Less Traveled, Creative Writing Classes and Social Media. And before the presentation, I would like to give you a little bit the CV of Mr. Erio. Would you please give me time to prepare for the CVs? Okay, I'm sorry, I cannot find the file. So would you please, now we can start the presentation for Mr. Erio RP Fangide SPD M.Hum. To start your presentation, and time is yours.
Thank you. I'm now going to share my screen, and knowing that I only have 25 minutes or so, I'm going to have my quick presentation this morning. And hopefully my voice is quite clear. You know, we are using technology, and sometimes technology plays tricks on us. So here it goes. Is my slide there now, Bapak Ibu?
Not yet, sir.
It must be on its way to Jogja or somewhere.
Not yet, Pak.
No, nothing. Okay. No, it should be there.
It's good, Pak. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Good morning, Bapak Ibu, and it's a pleasure to be here in a joint ELT webinar together with USD, Sarjana Wiyata Taman Siswa, and then Universitas Anata Dharma, and of course Universitas Mercu Buana. My voice is shaky right now, not because I have some health problem, but because of a clear reason, that is nervousness. If something keeps me awake at night, and if something wakes me up at 3 in the morning, that must be something special, and this is one of the special occasions I'm talking about. Yesterday, I was asked to submit my title for this presentation, and then I remember one of my favorite poems from Robert Frost. And this is the first half of my title is taken from his poem, Taking the Road Less Traveled, in which I'm going to share my very personal experiences in relation to creative writing, which I teach, and how I use social media, especially during this pandemic. Now, sorry. Okay, before I start, a brief backgrounder about me. I teach in English Literature Study Program that is under the same umbrella with PBI, Pendidikan Bahasa Inggris of Fakultas Bahasa and Seni in UKSW. And I've been teaching here for about 14 years now, 1-4, not 4-0. And then in our study program, we offer two majors. And to be more specific, we offer translation and literary analysis, and the other one is creative writing. And I'm choosing creative writing today because I teach most courses under the major of creative writing, and of course because these two branches are still under literature, it means that we are we all study literature and we also teach literature, which also means that when we are dealing with literature, we discuss human experiences. We read human experiences that happened in different parts of the world, and we also create work based on our human experiences. And I'm going more specific now, and because my discussion this morning is on creative writing, I can tell you that under our creative writing we have quite many courses, and some of them are written here: creative writing fictions, and then creative writing poetry, script writing, travel writing, journalism. And in one of the first semester, students will have to take ICW, that is Introduction to Creative Writing. Now, what we do there, what we do in those classes are, well, same old. I mean, the same things that lecturers and also students do in different universities do. We read work and then we analyze them individually, and then we are also going to discuss works in classroom discussions. And of course, one of the most anticipated for lecturers and also maybe for some students the most hated activity is when they have to create something. And it's not easy for everyone, because when we have no idea, then what can we produce? The answer is easy, nothing. However, the four things that we did here all happened, and all were done quite easily during the, before the pandemic hit. Before the pandemic hit, before things changed, and also before the now very popular term of MBKM, Merdeka Belajar Kampus Merdeka. And then, of course, we're going to take the discussion further into this question. If we did all that before the pandemic hit, what about was the pandemic? What about after the pandemic hit? Are there changes? If this question is asked to lecturers and students all around the world, of course, the answer would be a simple yes, there are changes. What changes? Oh, okay. We can spend long hours talking about the changes that we are forced to make because of this pandemic. But before I answer this question, what changes have we made, and then what are we doing now in classes? I'd like to take all of you to a quick flashback here. Well, of course, memes are always fun, and here I have 3 memes. I will start from the one on the right. Well, this one is probably produced by somebody who thinks him or herself as an annual failure. That 2018 was not my year, 2019 was not my year, so 2020 was going to be my year. Yeah, okay, you can understand. And the second one in the middle is, well, I think this one comes from a more optimistic person. I messed up already. 2020 is going to be my year for sure. Yes, we can appreciate his or her optimism right here. And the last one is here, a meme with a certain Joey Tribbiani from Friends in it. The left one said, 2020 is going to be my year. But on January 2nd, 2020, when Twitter exploded with this issue on World War III, we know that something special was going to happen. And then another thing happened. Kobe Bryant was killed in a helicopter accident, and then the forest fire in Australia, and also the flood in Jakarta. We know that 2020 was going to be something unforgettable for all the wrong reasons, and the wrong reason is because of this. You see here? Well, you notice the infamous picture of the coronavirus, and I put it in the corner just to tell it that, well, he's a bad guy. I put it in the corner like this. So, of course, because of this, we lecturers have to make changes. Therefore, before we made changes, we came to this realization like this. In the past, we used to read, analyze, discuss, and create. But after the pandemic hit, we could still read, of course. We could still analyze, of course, on a personal level. But discussing was very difficult because we could not meet physically in classroom. We could not have that heated discussion between friends and between friends and lecturers. And creating is now in a gray area because we still wanted to create. Students still wanted to create, but they did not know how. What platform now? We used to work with pens and paper and whiteboard or blackboard, and also different, technology that we've been using for a long time. But of course, it's something different now, and we know that this is a dramatic circumstance, and it demands a dramatic change as well. So what did I do? This is what I did. The old me, I would use emails. I would use LMS. I've been using Schoology, very helpful, and then Google Docs, of course, and also some other Google products. And for simple tasks, I would switch to WhatsApp and Telegram. However, when we've been using the same apps for quite a long time, we would get bored, and this is what I experienced. I've been using this for years now, and of course, there was a different feeling when I kept using this in the first couple of months during the pandemic. That emails used to be fun, LMS used to be fun, WhatsApp used to be fun and warm, but now every time a notification arrived, it would always be about assignment coming from different classes. A simple illustration would be like this. I think that most of us are Facebook users, and Facebook used to be fun, but now not anymore. That is why young people switch to different platforms, because they know that if they're on Facebook, their parents are too. Therefore, the fun is gone. They need to move somewhere else. They took it to Twitter, also to Instagram, and also to different platforms. And now, I have to say that the first couple of weeks of this WFH, working from home things, those were probably the most demanding 2 weeks in my life. I spent countless hours staring at the laptop, talking to my students, but still, the teaching and learning process was lifeless, at least for me. And then, converting living room to workspace is also demanding. And I was forced to spend long hours thinking about what did I have to do. I had to find something that is enjoyable to do, because that would be the remedy against stress and boredom. It's not easy having to be in small rooms, not going anywhere for long hours, long days, and long weeks. And that enjoyable activity has to be accessible, which means that it is in our palm almost all the time. It is similar to the expansion of our hands. I'm talking about this magical invention of smartphone. We can go around the world just by tapping this and that, different apps. And to connect to a wider audience, it also had to be something popular. Yes, it's popular. I will explain the reason why it has to be something popular. And also, it has to be something popular. It will also give them space to strengthen their identity. They can be who they are when they are doing activities in that certain platform. Or in my term, it would be your account, your rules. So after, thinking about, another countless hours, I arrived at this decision, switching from emails and other things to this, the so-called, the new me would use social media and blogs, and to be specific, Instagram. I've been using Instagram for almost 5 years now, but during the first 5 years of using that platform, I use Instagram to post pictures, to write something, and also to share some information, but never for education. But because of these considerations, enjoyable, accessible, popular, and personal, I made up my mind that Instagram was the way out. I fully realized that, see here, I'm not the only one using this, and I am not the first taking classrooms activities to Instagram, as said by the American philosopher Sam Smith in his song. I'm not the only one now, but this one is a lecturer, I think, Harry Dyer on his TED Talk session. He said that social media allows each user to amplify their identity and recreate existing words. What he meant by amplify their identity is that I am reflecting to what I did in classroom sessions, that I had certain activities in my mind, and then I walk around to different corners of the classroom saying, you do this, you do this, you do that, using this platform, using these programs, using these apps. But while I was making this slide, I realized that I could be selfish when I did that, because not everyone agreed. Not everyone was in the same level as I am. When I told them to do this and do that, they might have different styles of delivering their own ideas. Therefore, referring back to this Harry Dyer statement, the use of social media is the way out. It can be one of the most effective ways to help them to help students express themselves, because that is the heart and soul of literature, self-expression. And at the same time, they can also create works. So now these two very important ingredients in literature classes are there, and they would once again click using the help of social media. And then this one, and because of the use of social media, I'm going back to this slide once more, with with some modification. At first, we had reading, analyzing, discussing, and creating in classrooms. And then after the use of social media, we earn two new benefits. That is, we can connect. We can connect not only with our classmates, not only with our lecturers in the faculty, but now we have global audience. Shocking how things changed in a matter of weeks. We used to talk only with our friends, but now using the social media, using Instagram, we are connecting with the world. We are receiving comments from people who never know us, whom we don't know, coming from different parts of different continents. And that is the beauty. We connect all of a sudden. And the second benefit is students can now occupy. What I mean by occupy is that now they can occupy, well, one tiny spot in the vast digital world. Well, I know that for some it will be like shouting in the middle of the Sahara desert, of course, because of, well, this, everyone is in the platform right now. And what I like from the use of Instagram in this case is that they can speak their mind, which is vital in literature classes assignments. And they do so without having to lose their identity. It even helps them amplify who they are, what they want to say, without fear of being judged by people who actually know them in classrooms. And well, I think that most of us come from this culture that whenever lecturer asks students to say something, to share something, and then suddenly the class becomes quiet. Is there anything you would like to say? No. Any questions? No. But with the help of social media, suddenly they find their voice. And then they can send their voices and their thoughts to people around the world. And this is what we are doing. What I say, this is the remedy to this what the pandemic has done to my classes. Okay. But again, I'm not the only one. I'm not the only one doing this. Before jumping to, before asking students to do this and do that on social media, I did long hours of researching on Instagram and also in different sites. And I found very good examples that students can look up to. Sorry. Hey, where is it? This one. This is what we use as one of our references in our journalism class. Right now, we are writing features and also profile writing in which our ability of digging other people's stories is tested. And we're using this account as a reference, Humans of New York, in which the founder walks around New York City and then he interviews random people. And this is what we do now, but not I don't ask them to meet them in person, but they use the help of technology. So this is one of our references, and the other one is Humans of New York, of course, and some other accounts which post poems on their Instagram account. We also use that. There are many accounts doing that. And having learned from these accounts, now I had the confidence to ask students of my journalism class and also poetry class taught by Ibu Susan, one of our colleagues. And then we've been asking students to send their poems and their writings to Instagram. And these are some results. This one comes from Albert, one of our best students, working on his poetry project. This one comes from Gil. Look at this. Something special like this used to be kept in classrooms, used to be kept only in their books, and only the writers and only the lecturers would read this. But now they have this exposure from different parts of the world. And of course, looking at this number, 133 likes, it's a big number. And we can imagine how Gil must have been encouraged by this number. And also the comments, great poems, Gilbert. Something like this. So I can say that after the hard months between March to August, right now things have begun to shape up, and then I can say that we are rising from the dust caused by the pandemic because of this social media use, of course. And next up, I have examples from the class of journalism, this one. For this class, I am not asking them to create a Instagram account, but I asked them to create their own blog. Why blog? Because I wanted them to build their digital portfolio for their future investment. And one of my first messages in the first meeting is, please take care of your blog, because you never know. You never know who will read your blog in the future. See, I gave them the example of Zoom. Before the pandemic hit, who used Zoom? Very few people. But after the pandemic hit, we are using Zoom almost every day. We are citizens of Zoom, if I may say so. And also another example is this. This is also taken from another student's blog. I also happened to ask several students about their impression on using social media and also blogs. And then I've been getting some mixed answers. Some of them are happy on getting feedbacks. See this, most of them, the feedbacks are helpful, some of them, but few are sometimes intimidating. But of course, this is one good way. I mean, one good way for them to practice how to argue. And the argument happens in a public sphere. It means that everyone can read. So everyone can judge how smart they are and how strong their arguments are. So I am not, I mean, right now lecturers are not the only one testing students. But wow, netizens do the judging now. And it will only help the students in building strong argument and in their ability to answer questions. And the second point that I ask is whether feedbacks or comments help them generate ideas. Well, some of them said that, well, actually, before we post something, we have been prepared. But comments are welcome because it can give them some insights for their next posts. And the third one, I think this is the biggest benefits of using social media, that right now social media has become a virtual workspace. We used to work in coffee shops, man, we call it, this is my second office, the coffee shop. I can work with my friends, but now social media is a very large workspace, which people can collaborate and share ideas. These are some thoughts and impressions from my students while Of course, not everything is good, and some things have to be taken with a pinch of salt, because there will be some problems before sharing something to social media. That language problems can happen. This is where lecturers still have to help them in terms of language, because we do not want to humiliate them, of course. Consultation has to happen. And the second one is peer pressure. Well, fists or thumbs. The thumbs will mean different things when we are discussing social media. It can mean that more people like you. You can be happy. You can be proud of your work. And I know that some students whom I talk to feel that they feel discouraged if they only receive a few thumbs. And they feel also jealous when their friends who are coming from the same class get more thumbs. And what I can do about it is, well, I keep saying that as long as you can express your ideas, you can be happy with that. Well, please do not ever judge the quality of your content based on the likes that you are getting. And the third one is cyberbullying. It happens, and I'm afraid it will keep happening when people who read our stories, or people who read our poems, they tend to criticize, and their criticism can be very harsh. And this is where lecturers can help them if it happens. But of course, these three negative sides, or these three potential problems, will never overcome these two benefits. They are, well, we know that it is about the journey, not only the destination. It means that before they post something, they have to work with different apps, and that is a plus point. They have to work with Lightroom, for example. They have to know how to compose a good picture using different apps, and that is also one benefit. And the second one is the future investment. When they are taking a good care of their blogs or social media, well, the future is hopefully bright for them, because right now everything is up there, everything is online, and people can see what you do. People can see your talents in different forms through social media. And to end my sharing with, I have the reflections that I use as my conclusion as well, that we know that the year 2020 is violent, is an extra violent wake-up call for everyone, and all fields are affected, including us in education. But well, thank God that this unwanted situation has also forced us to readjust our position, and we have to move somewhere in order to see the silver linings that actually something special is happening. And this is what I like the most, that because of this, now that we are connected using so many platforms of social media, it's perfect time not to compete but to collaborate. And this is one of the ways to collaborate, in which I share my ideas to all to students, and also to fellow lecturers coming from different universities. And the last one is this. Yes, thank you. And this is an invitation to connect. You can find us, our faculty account on the gram, the FPS_UKSW, and PBE, Sastra English. And on a personal level, you can find me there, Erio Fangidai and Erio.Fangidai. Okay, I think I've used my 25 minutes, and hopefully I have brightened up your Saturday morning in a bit. Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much for the sharing, Bapak Erio. It really opens our mind, especially me, on how Mr. Erio taking the road less traveled, creative writing classes and social media. I am personally interested, and this is really helpful to me, since now I am writing up also one of my research on this. So thank you very much, Pak Ariel. Ladies and gentlemen, I am so excited to invite our second speaker, Bapak Daniel Ari Widyatama, SPD MUM. Bapak Daniel got bachelor degree on English Education Study Program from Universitas Sanata Dharma. He holds his master degree from English Language Studies of Universitas Sanata Dharma. And besides lecturing, he was also appointed as one of the directors of Program and Development of Indonesian Technology Enhanced Language Learning, or ITEL. However, before listening to his presentation, I'm inviting you once again to deliver your questions to the speaker in the chat box. Please mention your name and state to which presenter you address your questions. You can follow this form, like what you can read in the chat box: name and then space, origin, space, presenter's name, space, question. Name, space, origin, space, presenter's name, space, question in the chat box. And as a gentle reminder, during this webinar, you may turn on your webcam, but mute the microphone. My special warm greeting also from me and all the speakers and committees to participants, especially Mr. Ali Guriro from Pakistan. Welcome, sir. Now, let's welcome Mr. Daniel Ari Widyatama with his presentation entitled Orchestrating EduTech and Literature to Promote Critical Thinking and Creativity. So Mr. Daniel, time is yours. You have 25 minutes to go.
Well, it's a really, it's like heartwarming introduction of me, Pak Pinawan. Thank you very much for your kind words. And good morning, all the honorable seminar or webinar participants this morning. I hope you are doing great today. How are you? You can turn on your mic. I see some students of PBU MBA also here. Are you still here, guys?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sure. Yeah, so kita santai aja ya. So let's just have fun here, yeah. Don't get strained, yeah. So this is a really special moment that I have here, since I can meet so many colleagues here. I see Ibu Mika Wulandari from BPU SD as well here, and also maybe Ibu Eka from BPI Universitas Negeri Jember, and also some students of 4 universities, 4 language education program, English program, yeah, English department of UST, UMBY, USD, and KSW. And also I see some participants from different countries. Yeah, so it was a really great presentation and sharing from Bapak Eryu that was discussing about how we should deal with this pandemic times. It's like blessing in disguise, yeah, Pak, if I may conclude that if Menteri Pendidikan cannot force teachers to use technology, but Corona eventually did. And we all now slowly use technology, and I learned from Pak Eko that we'll talk about cinematography later. And Ibu Heni was actually my lecturer in bachelor degree. So that's why I'm quite nervous today. But yes, this is life, and let's learn from one another. So allow me to start my slide here. Well, my topic today is, as Pak Binawan mentioned before, orchestrating technology, yeah, edu-tech, and also literature. Well, I have to tell you that I'm not so much into literature. I've never taught literature class before, yeah. And this is a bit challenging, but I love reading, yeah, especially storybooks. Okay, I used to collect so many magazines back to my childhood, and it is like a sweet reunion. Okay, when that's why I decided to write to present about EduTech and how it collaborates with literature to help empowering critical thinking and creativity. So if you wish to know more about me, then you can later find out me better on this Instagram, Facebook, and you can email me as well. And I'm also currently active with ITEL, Indonesian Technology Enhanced Language Learning. And okay, let me start my story. Can you see my slide, Pak Binawan? Is it
Yes,
already there?
I can see it.
Okay,
It's
right.
very clear.
It's very clear. Okay, so before I talk further, I'd like to start with a polling, Bapak Ibu. Yeah, would you please access this? Okay, and Pak Binawan maybe can help me to attach this link to the chat box or the committee. Yeah, bit.ly /polling SS4. So this is in lowercase. Yeah, I have a question to answer. Okay, I'm using three-sider here. So would you please access this? Yeah. So there is a short question that you will find. Can somebody tell me what the question is? Or Mr. Binawan?
What comes to your mind when you hear the word literature?
Okay, nice. Yeah, thank you, Pak Eryo. Yeah. So what comes to your mind when you hear the word literature? Okay, so you can walk through your imagination what literature is in your idea. Yeah, let's play fun with your thoughts. Yeah, doesn't have to be very theoretical. But I want to know your truth feeling when you heard literature. Yeah, if you ask me question, literature is atmosphere. Yeah. So what about you? What is literature? So right. So I'm about to check whether you have answered my question. Okay. So wait a second. Yeah, while having you fulfilling this three-sider thing. Okay. Right. Somebody might have a really long answer. Somebody might have a short one, but I need a short one. Yeah. Just keep it short. Yeah, so we can go through. Okay, so wait a minute. I'm going to share my screen again. All right, so here we are. Imagination. Thank you, Mr. Richard. Yeah. I wonder if I know Mr. Richard well. Maybe he is my bookmate back then. I don't know. I feel like his name is familiar. And then pleasure. Okay, I remember Dr. Herujianta when he was the professor of literature in USD. Poetry is pleasure. Literature is pleasure. Adventure, nice. Okay, what else again? Right, imagination, yeah. About movie, book, storybook, short story. You nailed it. Okay, thank you, Miss Nisa. And then narration, literature is fun to learn. Well, if I can sum up the whole answers here, most of them are correct. So nothing wrong with literature. Yeah, you can always say it right to define what literature is. Okay, and in this morning, I actually want to define what literature is. Okay, and I will try to connect that with the challenges that will come up to the next century or even in this century. By the way, thank you very much for your responses. It's really thought-provoking. Yeah. Right. So back to my slide. Right. Okay. Well, we all know that this is not a secret anymore, that the World Economic Forum said, yeah, critical thinking is a skill vital to surviving. Yeah. So once again, I try to connect with the challenges coming up to the next year from now. We should realize that critical thinking is actually one of the, and creativity, I guess, the two skills are very important. Why? Okay, you can answer my question on the chat box. Why are critical thinking and creativity needed to deal with the next future? Okay, what do you think? Yeah. You have a very specific answer probably, but I would like to give a short illustration. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna play a video that you probably ever watched before. Okay, Pak Binawan, can you see the video? Can you see my screen? Is it clear?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so tell me what you thought about.
Imagine having a 5-star chef cooking all your meals for you every day of your life. This is the dream and the goal that Moli Robotics is trying to accomplish. They have created the first fully automated and intelligent robots that can learn recipes, cook all kinds of foods with a remarkable precision, and then clean up after themselves. Moli Robotics built a working prototype of the Moli Kitchen. This futuristic-looking workstation is equipped with advanced robotic arms and hands that can grip kitchen utensils, measure liquids, crack eggs, you name it, they can do it. Master Chef winner Tim Anderson was hired on as Moli's development chef and helped the robotics team teach the robots how to cook by using motion capture gloves and wristbands, much like a video game. This means you can potentially record the movements of other famous chefs and have a meal prepared for you indirectly by, let's say, Chef Gordon Ramsay.
You're in denial!
Moli Robotics recently launched a crowdfunding campaign looking for investors and potential testers of the prototype kitchen to help them improve the robot's ability. Moli believes that they can do for cooking what smartphone devices have done for communications and what vacuum cleaners have done for cleaning, according to the product video. You can read more about the Moli Robotics kitchen at...
All right. So this is a short video about Molly, a robot that can cook. Okay, and we should realize that this is our world right now, that human is now being competing with, robots. Okay, so you should, we probably already think about what will happen next when we have less skills, when we have no competencies on uh, several things that I'm going to mention later. Okay, so these are the things, these are the skills that we need to compete with robot. Okay, complex problem solving, agility and adaptability, digital literacy, okay, initiative and entrepreneurship, computational thinking, creative communication, critical thinking, active learning, social perceptiveness, and then technology design, system analysis, programming, using new and emerging technologies, and so on. There are still a lot of other things. And previously, Pak Aryo just mentioned that Merdeka Belajar program is actually preparing students to cope with the previous challenges. And this very morning, I would like to focus on critical thinking and creativity that we probably should have prepared from right now. Okay, because maybe if you are thinking that you are going to be a lecturer or a teacher or whoever you are later, then we need to start now, okay, before it's too late. Okay, why literary works? Okay, so our construct today is actually focuses on literature, okay, on literary works. Yeah, as you know that there are so many literary works that we know. Yeah, there are novels, okay, then poems. We also have short story. What else again? There are a lot. Play, okay, and movies. Yeah, it improves linguistic knowledge, of course. Yeah, and then it increases language awareness. Okay, so whenever you are reading novels, most of them are uh, written in past tense. Nah, so this kind of awareness is actually built through literature and literary works. And then to enhance communicative competence, okay, through play performance, you can actually improve your speaking fluency, your character building, and so on, and then develop interpretive skills, okay. And yeah, because reading comprehension is now becoming an issue that Indonesia, especially, is laying on the, and the very back row, okay, of the whole countries. Yeah. It is a sad condition that reading comprehension is an issue right now. And then cultural understanding, like superstition. I never knew before. I just learned from Ibu Heni when I was in his prose class. Yeah, I just knew that black cats mean bad luck for people, for some people in some countries. So this is, I still remember till now. It is years ago, like 15 or 17 years ago, I guess. But I did still remember Cat on the Rain and so many interesting novels that she introduced. So it stick on my mind. And then facilitate critical thinking and creativity. But the question now is, yeah, the big question that we have right now is, are we familiar with this? Yeah, as we know that poems, poesy, yeah. Okay, would you guys please give me a text on what poems you like the most? Yeah, and Indonesian or Western poems or Arabic poems? It's up to you. Okay, so share your best poems that you have ever read or you have ever heard before, yeah, on the chat box. Yeah, I beg you. Okay, I'll give you a gift later. Okay, so through poems, yeah, we can through poems we can learn figurative languages. That by using figurative languages, then we can learn politeness. Yeah, we can learn about you know we can it trains our imagination, yeah, to not be like robot, because human is very flexible with the thought. So I guess uh, this is why I love poems so much. Yeah. When I'm feeling sad, when I'm feeling happy, I write poems. And Ibu Heni, maybe Pak Eryu and Pak Eko are good poem writers, I guess. Yeah. So poems is one of the material that we can learn about. And then drama or play. Yeah. I just remember decades ago when I had to perform in a play performance. So it taught me so many things, yeah, about perseverance, and then teamwork, commitment, collaboration, and critical thinking. Yeah, I bet you agree with me on this. Yeah. And on fiction story, we know that it is unreal story, but yeah, it gives us a sense of imagination. It trains us about uh, you know the skill to create our own story, yeah, to play with our words, yeah. And last but not least, it's all. So the question is how to teach literature while, okay, empowering critical thinking to students and also creativity. Well, in my case, I will introduce, or I will try to perform a simple strategy that you already probably found, or you also did this. Okay, so let's just celebrate the simple thing. Okay, and I'm using some stages from Bobkina and Stefanova, that we have 4 stages. Okay. The first stage is actually to situate the practice stage. So by having a simple question like, have you ever read a novel? Okay. So this is what we can tell our students about, or what we can ask our students. Okay, so to build their um, prior knowledge, okay, to find their experience. And then the second stage is to check their comprehension. Okay, let's not stick into this complicated term, but actually it helps us to we want to check whether they understand what they read on a particular poem or story or novel. And the third one is critical framing. Yeah, it's to develop students' conscious attention to relationship between linguistic forms, yeah, structure of the sentences, and the social cultural context. Yeah, this is into maybe into social linguistics and stuff. So the question that we can use is actually like, who do you think is the main character in the story? Yeah, and then what atmosphere would the poet try to build on this poem? Okay, so let me check a little bit about this. Yeah. So I'm so excited to read this poem. Okay, everybody, I welcome you to read this poem. Okay, so I wonder why Puheni is laughing here, because this piece of work was actually written by Ibu Heni herself. Okay, and completed with this doodle drawing. Okay, so what comes to your mind? What atmosphere does this poem try to build? As simple as this. This question is really simple, right? Now, as soon as you ask this to your student, you are actually stepping into this stage already. So now, if you wish to read more, then you can sneak out Ibu Heni's Facebook. Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't even make permission to Ibu Heni that I took this poem from your Facebook account. So, well, this is a really nice poem, I told you. And then the last stage is actually to let them produce their own writing. Okay, they can even paraphrase the story. They can even alternate the ending of the story. Just let them play widely with their brain, with their mind. This is by doing so that their critical thinking and their creativity are curved, are crafted, are made, are trained, whatsoever you name it. Okay, so right. Allow me to present one really short story. Okay, this is actually a masterpiece of Aesop. Okay, all right. So let me give you some time to read slowly this story. Probably I still have a few more minutes here. I wish I had more than 25 minutes. Okay, but it's already almost 20 minutes or so. But okay. So, what do you think? So there is a lion, okay, sleeping on in a forest, and suddenly a mouse came in, right? And the lion actually arrested the mouse. And after a moment, then he actually let the mouse go away, okay. And uh, at the other day, the mouse, well, actually, the mouse thanked the lion, but at the other day, the mouse saw that the lion was trapped on a net, okay, by a hunter. And at this point, at this very moment, the mouse, okay, helped the lion to escape from the net. As simple as that, okay. Well, actually, the lion didn't really care about the mouse feelings that he was actually kept, okay, by the by the lion, okay. And yes, that's the story. Okay, but Binawan, would you please attach this link to the chat box? And I'm going to go to learning apps. Okay, so this is a small game that is really light. Okay, that everybody can play with. Okay, so would you please go to bit.ly/LASS4. Okay, bit.ly/LA learning apps S4. Okay, so when you are into this link already, then you will come to okay, this page. Let's say that this is a brainstorming game. Yes, it is. Okay, so dear class, we'd like to play a group puzzle game. So this stage is actually a stage to comprehend the students' understanding. Okay, so everybody, please turn on your microphone and make some mistakes, yeah? If you wish to, if you think you already read the story, then let's help me to answer this. The lion was afraid of the mouse. Is it true or false? Turn on your microphone. The lion was afraid of the mouse. Just say yes or no. True or false?
If Daniel, we still have 1 minute.
One more minute?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So if you think that this is false, then okay, let's say, all right. And what about this one? The lion realized that the mouse was so kind-hearted. Is it true or false? You may say that this is true. Okay. All right. And how if it is a wrong statement and you answer this incorrectly? Okay, what will happen? All right, so there is a feedback here. So you may use this platform later, and there is a feedback. It's a combination of reading comprehension check. So you may use learning apps, okay, .org to train your students' comprehension skills. Okay, and now, right. So on the other practice, I actually would like to present Padlet here. So this is an application to work collaboratively with your students, right? So, well, I wish to play this with today's participants, by the way, but we encounter time constraints. Well, actually, if you wish to answer these questions, yeah, so you can ask your students to write their answers here, and they can work collaboratively. Okay, so they can work together. They can simply put their answers here, and the point here is not the technology, but the questions. Okay, so for example, could you please make an alternative ending of the story? So this is actually the fourth stage that I presented. And what is the best part of the story? This is actually in the third stage of the phase, yeah, or stage. So the two platforms I presented today are actually will be so much helpful if we know how to use this. Okay, so Bapak Ibu, if you would like to try more, I'm sorry, I should go to this one. Okay, so you can scan this code, okay, or you can go to this Padlet platform. So Pak Binawan, maybe you can help me to attach this link on chat box. Okay. Is my time over?
Yeah, actually.
Okay. All right. So that's okay. So maybe while having another Q&A session later, then you can try this. You can try at home. You can share this to your friends, to your colleagues, and I wish you a happy class and also a happy trying. So thank you very much for having me.
Okay, well, sir, Daniel, thank you so much for your interactive presentation. It was really awesome. A compliment coming from Mr. Ali Buriru. He said amazing illustrative examples. So Daniel, he also mentioned that he also appreciates the interactive nature of this session. Well done. Okay, let me invite our third speaker. And now I'm a little bit nervous since he was one of my favorite lecturers. Our third speaker is Ibu Heni Herawati, PhD. She is a lecturer at the English Education Study Program, Sanata Dharma University, Yogyakarta, being a lecturer for 25 years now. She mainly teaches literature courses, Introduction to Literature, Prose, Drama, Poetry, and Creative Writing. She graduated from Satya Vatana Christian University for her bachelor degree. Then she got her master's degree from Gajah Mada University. Last year, she earned her PhD from Monash University with her doctoral thesis, Learners as Writers, a case study of EFL creative writing resources and practices in Indonesia. She has particular research interest in literature, in language learning, and also creative writing. She also loves doodling and writing poems. Okay, without further ado, please welcome Ibu Heni Herawati, PhD. Time is yours.
Thank you, Pak Pinawan. Thank you for the nice introduction. It is really a great honor for me to be able to share with you, participants, and also to share platform with Pak Aryo, Pak Daniel, and Pak Eko Hazarin. Now, allow me to share my screen. Do you see my screen now?
Yes, Ibu.
Yes.
We can see that clearly.
Thank you. So, once again, good morning, everyone. And I guess we all share the same passion and concerns. Pak Aryo's and Pak Daniel's presentations were both interesting and very inspiring. And Pak Aryo, maybe one day we can do collaboration. Maybe
Looking
our
forward to it.
students, actually, our students can do some collaborative projects on creative writing. Yes, and so because we share interests and passions, you might find intersections in our talks. In my talk with Pak Aryo's and also Pak Daniel. If he is nervous because I was his former lecturer, I'm actually also nervous because when it comes to technology, I'm a dinosaur. And he's an expert in educational technology. So it's time for me now to learn from you. All right. Now, to give you a brief outline, in this presentation, I will begin with my attempt to understand the current context. So I will start from my experience, just like Pak Aryo as well. And I will share my experience which then led me to the thought that I need to reframe my understanding on the kinds of literature I should explore with my students and the way I use it. And the last part of my presentation will share some practices I have done with my students in creative writing class. So our life has changed drastically, as also have been pointed out by previous speakers. Since the beginning of this year, due to the coronavirus outbreak, so lockdown in many parts of the world, wearing masks is a must, physical distancing as well. And classes are definitely shifted to a different mode, the online mode. And this pandemic has forced many teachers, including me, to embrace technology more in facilitating our students to learn. As I mentioned previously, when it comes to technology, I'm a dinosaur. I'm not a tech savvy. I belong to the, what I call maybe floppy disk and cassette generation, or people say Generation X. And I've been struggling to keep up with my much younger colleagues and my students who are the Zoomers. But I'm actually very willing to learn, because if we refer to this diagram, there is a quite wide gap between me Generation X, and my students, Generation Z. But once again, I have a belief that as teachers, we have to be adaptive and creative and trying to understand our students' unique learning styles and interests. And I should be willing to learn from Pak Daniel, and also from, if Bhumika is still here, I ask her a lot of questions related to this, because on one side, I'm really eager to develop my skill on this. I'm really eager to know how I can facilitate students more. But on the other side, I have limited knowledge and experiences on that. So Generation Z, or Gen Z for short, are the, like the demographic cohort before succeeding millennials and preceding generation Alpha. And they are digital natives. And this generation has been raised on the internet and social media. Now, on the contrary, as a digital immigrant, I have to adapt and practice digital technologies to keep up with them. So I think this inevitable digital transformation, this awareness on the inevitable digital transformation also made me think that I need to reframe my view and practices on literature learning. Now, this is my mom. She's 72 years old this year, and she loves reading novels and always asks me or my sister to bring her novels. But recently, she has shifted actually to the digital form of story. So one day she showed me the terbung. So it's like stories, serials, and that she got from her WhatsApp group. These ones are in Indonesian language, of course. Now she enjoys actually the new way of reading stories. So even my mom, who is 72 years old, has shifted from print to digital as well. With the advancement of technology, literary works are more accessible, and ebooks provided by numerous websites have given free access to literary works as well. So we have more freedom than to read the books that we want to read. There are many other websites that students and teachers can access to read literary works, especially the canons. So now it is no longer a problem, okay, to get access to the literary works. But technologies have changed and continue to transform literary production, including the emergence of digital literature. Digital literature is a form of literature born in the digital world. It is meant to be read online, and it emerged as a response to the present day when people love reading but do not have much time to read. So I think this kind of literature fits the digital media platform. So it actually, I was aware of this when suddenly when I scroll down my Facebook account, there's a notification of text stories. Okay, so I was very curious of what it is, and then I tried to read through and watch the video, and then I was really interested in this new kind of literature. So there are various kinds of digital literature, but in this presentation, I would like to highlight three that I've been using with my students. First is flash fiction. Flash fiction is a short story. So it's a very short story, around 300 to 1,000 words long, but sometimes even less than that. It's actually, some people say that it's longer than microfiction. Microfiction is very, very short, maybe even less than 10 words, but shorter than traditional short stories. Okay. But, and flash fiction is usually a story of a single act, sometimes the culmination of several unwritten events. And so those two website address, there are some websites, and these are actually two of them that provide flash fictions that you can read. Now, the second kind is the one that I mentioned previously, text stories. Now, text stories is a popular episodic web series driven entirely by screen capturing group chats. And each snippet is only around 2 to 3 minutes in length. So readers will get the story from the chats of 2 or more people. So it's like a chat between 2 persons, or like a group WhatsApp chat. Okay, so but there are some options whether what kind of format that you want to use, and then it's captured in a kind of video, and then of around 2 to 3 minutes, presenting the chats that deliver the story. If we have time, I'll show you later one of the text stories. There are, if you see the one on the right, that one is one site in which you can read the text stories. Okay, you can go to that site, and then there are a number of text stories written by people. The third one is micro poetry and other kinds of poems that fit the space to be presented in Instagram. This is one example, a famous poet. Besides publishing her poem in printed books, she also published them in her Instagram. Now, why reading digital literature? First, I think because students are familiar with this kind of literature, hence it is more engaging to them. So they might like have their smartphones, like if they're interested in poetry, then they might be interested in reading that rather than sadly now maybe from printed books. And the second one is to incite students' creativity to produce this kind of literature. So the class project that I'd like to share with you today are from my creative writing class. Maybe I should explain a bit that creative writing class in the English Language Education Study Program, Sanata Dharma University, is an elective course. So it's not like in Pak Erio's department, in which it's a stream, right? Like a major. So you have like a set of courses in that major. Now this one is only one course, and it's elective actually. But the thing here is what I find interesting and good is those who take this course are those who are passionate about writing. So because it's elective, they can take it or they can leave it. So those who take the course, they usually, or most of them, have a passion or interest in creative writing. So
we still have 4 minutes to go.
Okay. Yes, thank you, Pak Binawan. So I use social media and apps to create and publish. So first, I should say using personal Facebook or Twitter to publish flash fictions. Poems are also regularly published in our class Instagram account. And we use Google Doc and Padlet for collaborative writing or peer reviewing flash fictions. and using Canva or other graphic design platforms to create a digital book showcasing the flash fictions and poems. And the last one is using Text Story Maker app to create text stories that are uploaded in the YouTube. So this is just a picture of students working together on a flash fiction, okay, on her flash fiction. So this is the draft, and they collaboratively develop in pairs the story. And we have this Instagram account. These are some screenshots of the pages in our class IG. If you are interested, you can go to creativewriting_PBE and have a look at their writings, their poems. Two of the students in class voluntarily become the admins and upload their friends' poems and make the IG look pretty. Okay, definitely that's not me. But I learned from them. Okay, I learned from them how to make this. Okay, so I asked them to. I just leave it to them. Okay, so please make our IG interesting, and then they came up with this, which is very pretty, I think. Now, having their poems displayed and read by people beyond their creative writing classmates build the students' confidence and passion in writing. This is one example and some a screenshot of their poems. And they also created a student's digital poetry portfolio. So I guess it's a bit similar with Pak Ario's class, right, Pak? Yes, in terms of using Instagram, and maybe this one also, I heard Pak Ario mention about poetry or some portfolio, digital portfolio, something like that. Yes, so this is an example of a student's digital poetry portfolio. This showcases students' individual poems they wrote. In this compilation, she presented a acrostic poem, concrete poem, haiku, found poem, micro poem, and lyric poem that she wrote. These are examples of the what she wrote. And not only that, they just compile their poems, you know, into one nice presentation, but they also present them like what you can see very nicely. And I didn't teach them how to do it. They are naturally digital natives, and they find a way. Okay, they know how to do that much better than me. And again, I learned from them about this. So I guess students, when it comes to be invited or encouraged to do what are close to them, I mean, like things like this, they like it. But you know, in the past, I asked students to do like printed books, okay, not as excited as this one, I think, okay, even though yes, still like many of them also were interested in crafting, you see, crafting the books, like creating with, you know, handcrafts. But now it's not possible with the pandemic, so this is the best actually, and maybe a better option, because then we can share this to more people. Now, this is an example of how poetry writing can also be a great, you know, means of making sense of the current pandemic situation, or discernment, like the attitude that they want to take. Using metaphors in her poem, this student poet compared herself with a caged bird, reflecting on how beautiful the world outside is. She pointed out the irony of being unable to enjoy its beauty. This was written at the beginning of the lockdown. Okay, beginning of when they had to stay at home. She also expressed her restlessness, anxiety, and emptiness, having to be at home all the time and losing her freedom to go wherever she wants. So I think poetry writing can also be a means of expressions and, you know, helping them in dealing with current situation. This one is text story that I mentioned about. So to write a text story, I ask students to work in pairs and then incite inspirations for chat story by recalling stories they have read or drawing from experience or, you know, like continuing already written story. And then after that, they draft the chats to create a story, peer review the draft and revise it. And then after that, they can download the app. So the app here can be like texting story or chat maker or text story maker. Okay, so those are apps that can be used to create these text stories. And then they create the story and download the 2 to 3 minute video snippet and share the text story in the YouTube. So other friends can watch them. These are examples of the apps that students can use. Yes, thank you. Yes, this is an example of students' text story. It was a pair work project. So if you see the pictures there, the format is like chats. Okay, so you will not find like in narrative format, like in paragraphs, like short stories like that, but it's in a form of dialogues, in a form of chats. Now, readers will build the story from the chats. Now, later, if I have time, I can show the example because it's very interesting. You can see the, like someone is typing, okay, and then with the you know, like with the background sound, like when we chat, okay, and message coming in, message is coming out, something like that, and it's exactly, it looks like the screen of our phone. All right, very interesting. And students love this because this is something that they love doing. They chat every day, but now they know that they can create a story, they can create characters and then the plot, and by using the chats. So I think educational technology, including the digital tools used for learning, should facilitate learning and improve students' performance. So there are some apps that I would not recommend to be used in my creative writing class. Okay, this is one example, like poem generator. I don't really, because when I saw this, oh, what is this? I tried. Okay, I tried to enter the. It requires us to enter the noun and then the shape and then the, you know, like this one is poem generator for creating a concrete poem, for instance. Okay, but then even though the shape is like that, what's in it is not my choice. Okay, so I just key in the words, but actually when I read the poem, that's not me. Okay, that's not what I want to say. Okay, because this is developed by Mas Daniel knows better, maybe artificial intelligence, right, Mas Daniel? So I see that this kind of apps can reduce to certain extent the freedom in creativity in expressing feelings. So I think this is my last slide. So just a few notes that employing digital tools wisely can enhance student engagement with the creative writing practice and can boost their creativity and confidence as writers. And I agree with Pa Erio when he mentioned that creative writing and social media provide a platform for self-expression and connectedness. Right, Pa Erio, I definitely agree with you. And we need to be selective with the digital tools we want to use with students. I think we should ensure that we facilitate them to learn and develop their skills we aim to develop. Okay. So again, I think wise selection of the apps and any digital tools will be good. Yes, thank you so much for having me. And back to Pak Binawan.
Thanks, Bueni. It's a wonderful presentation indeed. Some compliments also coming from our participants. Mr. Muhammad Asim said, good morning, a wonderful presentation. And then from Mr. Ali Guriro, I adore your honesty, humbleness, and eagerness to adapt, Dr. Harry. Nice to hear that. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I believe that you are still on fire to listen to our first speaker. We will have another inspiring talk delivered by Bapak Azairin Eko P. MS. He is here to present about a growing trend in literary studies from printed text to movies. He is one of the lecturer in Pendidikan Bahasa Inggris Universitas Sarjana Wiyata Taman Siswa Yogyakarta. He has received his bachelor degree in Universitas Negeri Yogyakarta and master degree from American Study of Universitas Gadjah Mada Yogyakarta. He has expertise in cross-cultural understanding, seminar on literature, literary appreciation, entrepreneurship. Besides lecturing, he was also in his position of Vice Rector of Sarjana Wiyata Taman Siswa University in 2007 until 2015. So, Bapak Azairin Eko, welcome.
Okay, good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, Pak Daniel, can you hear me?
Yes, Pak Eko.
Okay, thank you. Good morning, everyone. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
I'm going to share my PowerPoint, and I think this is the topic of my presentation. And first, I'd like to ask you a question, especially for students, my students especially. I know there are a number of students here, and I'd like you to answer this in the chat box. Are you interested in doing literary study? Yes or no? It's a very simple question. Okay. Unresponsive, okay. Next question is, which work of art are you going to analyze, novel or movie? So by this question, I try to introduce that movies and novels are different. They belong to different arts. Okay, so I read a number of books, and the ones about literature and the others about movies. And finally, I come to a conclusion that they're different arts. Okay, this morning I'd like to talk about 6 subtopics. Let me start from my own experience. In the 7 years of consulting my students in writing their final term paper, and I found that the trend has been very, very interesting. So, for example, in 2014, almost the same number of students wrote about novel and movies. The same number of students. So movies and novels were interesting at the same level. In 2015, the number of students writing, I'm sorry, in 2014, the number of students writing movies was very dominant. All the students wrote about movies. In the following year, then a growing number of students writing about novels was there. 2 out of 13, but still there were more students writing on movies. And by the end of 2015, when I finished my office at the rectorate office, and I tried to discuss this phenomena with my colleagues. And at the end of the discussion, we came to similar opinion that they should be straightened. Movies are not literary works. They intended to write about literary works, but then they came to write about movies. So we tried to talk to them, to the students, and try to describe, to explain things. And well, if there was something interesting also about the reason why they chose movies. The first reason they expressed was that it was easier for them to understand movies instead of reading the novels. So it's a very practical reason. Movies with their visual illustrations facilitated them in understanding the story. So when they tried to compare the understanding of the text, novel, and the movie adaptation, then they would say it was much easier to understand the movie than to read the novel. But I then tried very hard to convince them that reading novels and analyzing novels would be much more beneficial for you students to prepare yourself to be better teachers in the future. Then they said, oh yes, that's for sure. And they started shifting their orientation from movies to novels. And this is very, very interesting also. And what I found in the last year, this year, I mean, the trend returned to what I found in 2015. All my students writing about movies, okay? And of course, with some restrictions. For example, okay, you may write about movies, but movies which are adapted from literary works, not movies which are created from original stories. because movies can be created from zero. The story in the movie can be created from zero, or it can be taken or inspired by a story in a literary work. Okay, this is my experience, so that's why I want to share my experience. Well, in historical perspective, then I think the most fascinating and first adaptation of novel into movie was Trailblue and Little Billy. It was still in a black and white and silent movie, and it was not as interesting as movies now. But again, the transformation from text, printed text, into celluloid or into movies was very interesting. And as movies or films or cinematography has been developing since, say, let's say 125 years ago, and some people regard movies or films or cinemas as minor to, say, older arts like literature, paintings. But okay, then the development of adaptation from novels to movies and then has been going on from time to time up to now. This is the comparison between a text in Murray's novel, Trilby. The text is like this: it was a fine sunny showery day in Nepal, the big studio window and so forth. And when we come to the screen, a screen of the movie, it's still in black and white and silent movie. 1915 adaptation of that novel. It was produced in United States. And here lies a problem when you try to analyze a movie, when you mean to analyze a literary work, because what is presented through the frame of the movie would be much different from what was written in the novel. Can the text that I showed you before be illustrated in this frame? It's only a frame, not a movie, not a video clip, a frame. And the emphasis of the illustration would be very much different. The first sentence of the novel say, okay, let's see. It was fine, sunny, showery day in April. And here, can we catch that idea of showery day in April in the United States at the time? It was difficult for us, especially younger generation, to grasp the ideas of shower day of April, what April looks like in the United States. And, frame of movie cannot talk more than text. Why? When we read printed text, what then going on in our mind is imagination. We try very hard to imagine what the situation looks like. While when we watch a movie, everything is there. Okay, so it is already translated by the movie maker, by the director, by the movie script writer. So it has been under several steps of interpretations. Okay, the original idea is in the text, in the novel, and then it is translated, interpreted by a script writer, a scenario writer, a playwright. Okay, and then the third layer of interpretation is by the director of the movie. So he is the one who is very responsible for producing pictures or frames or movie pictures. And in terms of literary study by using a movie, then there lies a number of problems in interpretation, in understanding the real idea that the novelist tried to express. Okay, let's see another example. This is a very, very popular novel, Death on the Nile. Okay, Death on the Nile by Agatha Christie. And there is a frame. Okay, how different version or how different years of adaptation of movies show us different frame. Okay, this is the frame showing when a murder took place in the ship. Okay, it is 1978 adaptation. The novel itself was published in 1937, sorry, but it was adapted into a movie in 1978, and then it is the newest adaptation, 2020, and it has not been released due to pandemic, right? A very different way of presenting frame to the audience. So the angle, the way how the camera works, the distance of the camera to the object, and that will create a kind of different artistic impression to the audience. And of course, this is how the film producers, film directors try to interpret what is in the text. And again, for literary analysis, there are a number of problems that should be taken care of. Different adaptations and different orientations, different ways in interpreting the text. Okay, this is a very interesting novel book, The Great Gatsby. It was published in 1925, and it is regarded up to now. It has been regarded up to now as a classic in American literature. I studied this novel in 30 years ago. Okay. I read the novel maybe 10 times or more. It was a very interesting novel. I was very curious why this novel was classic in American education. The question is why? Why 6 times adaptation? 1926, 1 year after the novel's publication. 1949, even though it was shortly after the Second World War. 1974, it was about the oil crisis, world oil crisis, and 2000, and then 2 years later, 2002, adapted again, and the newest adaptation was made in 2013. It was produced in 2012, but it was then released in 2013. Well, the question is why? Why is The Great Gatsby interesting to be adapted into movies? Well, I think I remembered of a book written by Abrams, The Mirrors and the Lamps, and on page 13, Abrams wrote about the approaches of analyzing artistic works. And one of the most important theories is mimesis. And this mimesis theory actually is derived from Aristotle, in which they regard that every artistic work must resemble the world around the work. So the Great Gatsby has been regarded as reflecting the life of the American young generation in the 1920s. And young generation in 1920s in American history was very well known for its lavish lifestyles. When uh, um, material world, material spirituality was very appreciated. So young people there tried to compete each other to get richer and richer through different ways of profession. And actually, The Great Gatsby was interesting, not only from the point of the plot, but it's also from the point of sociology of literature, in which it tried to reflect what's going on in the society. In the era of some economists called the era between 1890s to 1920s as the golden era American economy, because they got their prosperity, the first period of prosperous nation within this period, 1890s to 1920s, before they were involved in World War, the first and the second. Okay, mimesis. So that the answer to the question why it has been adapted 6 times since it was published in 1925. So mimesis can be also understood as the source of idea, source of story. And, you know, when we tried to understand the Great Gatsby, to analyze Great Gatsby, then we could apply different points of views, different approaches. Okay? And this is what our students need to learn. They have to compare, for example, the differences between the first, the second, third, and so on and so on adaptations, because they're different. So when we try to, but the version 1926 version cannot be found anywhere. But 1949 up to 2013 could be found in YouTube, for example. So we can try to compare the differences or similarities between the adaptation of 1949 and 1974. Let's see, for example, an example of this. This in the left is a frame from 1974 adaptation. It's
what Michael, you still have 5 minutes to finish.
5 minutes. Okay, thank you. And the other frame is from 2013 adaptations. It's very important to give background to our students when they try to analyze literary works by using movie as an object of analysis. Okay, as I told you before, literature, it is from the latest definition, 2020, writing, imaginative, intentions, aesthetic excellence. The keywords are imaginative, intentions, and aesthetic excellence. And this is the more famous definition of literature, also fictional imaginative writings. Abrams. Cinematography, so as I told you before, covers more than just the story. Cinematography is how to produce a movie, up to how to sell the movie. So production, post-production. indeed, movie is a language, visual language. That's why when you may continue with your analysis with movie because there is language, there is writing also, okay, and then films different from novels, for example, and then movie is different too. This is an example of my students' thesis, bachelor's thesis. The problems with the main character of the movie, the same thing as they do when they write about novels, the main character. And then learning motivation. It's a little bit about psychology. Well, the problem of method in research. Method of research is about three important elements: data collection, data analysis, and data presentation. In data collection, there will be differences in collecting data from movie and from novel. There is an issue in, for example, in validating a transcript of a movie, for example, because there are differences in when we try to look for the transcripts from the internet and the transcripts of the same movie. And that's why they need to validate the transcripts. And this is the instrument for collecting data, not cards. And this is the data of research in literature, in movie analysis. So students must be supported to come to this understanding that what data is this. So, and this is what is in my mind, film, and we have movie. The compromise is, okay, you may study movie, but it must be adapted from a fiction prose, not original story movie or real life experience movie. That is the compromise, okay? And this is the difference. When we use cinematography, then it's broader than just the story. In literature, what we analyze is the story. We do not deal with direction, we do not deal with production. We focus on the story. And the source of data is the script, okay, or transcript. And the unit of analysis, textual expression. The unit of data, words, phrases, clauses, sentences, styles. And the technique of analysis could be content or discourse analysis. Well, this is the other questions. I'm still interested in doing literary study. Very complicated, okay, very complicated about the method. But, from my experience, students finally can handle this. And have you made up your mind? Okay. Okay, thank you for listening to me, Harry. Time is yours.
Thank you, Michael. It was really an insightful presentation you had. Thank you so much. And thank you very much for all speakers for their informative and interesting talk. Ladies and gentlemen, now we come to question and answer session. I've seen several questions in the chat box here. I also invite participants joining this webinar through YouTube, if possible, YouTube live streaming, to participate in question and answer sessions by typing your questions in the chat box. We have the committee who will be ready to help you as well. To the honorable speakers, would you please check our WhatsApp group to find questions addressing to you? And we found some questions, and for your information, for questions that refer to similar topic will be formulated into one answer. I'm so sorry. I have to make it very efficient. So now let's start from Dr. Edu.
Thank you, Mas. Saya belum dokter, Mas. All right. There are questions, and the first I'd like to read from Gulam Ari Puriro from Pakistan. Long story short, his question is on how to minimize narcissism because we're using social media. Therefore, they usually come hand in hand in one package with personal narcissism. And I realized that, yeah, of course, there are many dimensions, many sides of to a person. Somebody who is, somebody who can be serious, somebody who wants to show that he or she has been traveling to this and that those places. But what I usually do is that I want them to play a very specific role when it comes to posting something on social media for their assignments. I know that you are good at dancing. I know that you are good at movie making, but for this assignment, please present the writer in you. That is one of the first things that I tell them before they share something. Therefore, they can be more focused in the way they present, in selecting their contents there. And usually it helps. The second thing that we can do is to ask them to create an anonymous account without mentioning their names. In that way, it will also help people see a different side to a person. My name is Erio. If I post pictures on the gram using my real name, then people will know that, oh, this is Erio who teaches English. But if I use a different name, then they will not know who I am, and they will judge my pictures or my writing based on what they see, not because who I am. And that will help people share more objective comments. And the second one is a question from Ibu Maria: how to help students with low self-confidence? What is interesting here is now we realize that the role of lecturers has shifted. We are no longer the only person with all the knowledge in the classroom, because our competition, as what Pak Daniel has mentioned, is now robots. We are also competing with Google, right? With Google and also with different platforms. Google knows everything. We know everything? We don't. And that's good news, actually. That's good news because right now our new role is as a supervisor in class projects. I remember listening to one webinar on MBKM a few weeks ago, and then it was mentioned that lecturers are now no longer the pilot, but we are now the co-pilots. We need to consult them. What do you want to produce for this assignment? If our theme is love, so how will you deliver love in your poem? How will you deliver love in your caption? I want to do this and that. Okay, you do that. And in that way, first thing is that they will know that their ideas are appreciated when we become good listeners to them. And speaking of students with low self-confidence and problems with language, this is where the role of supervision comes to life. We're not going to just allow them to post them, to share their writing or pictures at will. No, because we still do have our QC process. You have your draft, you talk to me, and then we correct your mistakes, we add ideas, and when we are both happy with that, it can go online. And well, speaking of Instagram, that's the platform for visual pleasure. But of course, content is still the king. It means that also the picture can be exceptional, but if the story is of low quality, then people will not read and people will not be interested in joining any kind of conversation you're trying to start. It always goes back to the quality of the content and how to reach a certain level of quality. That is the presence of a lecturer as the supervisor that is needed. Yeah, I hope I answered your question. And yeah, one more question coming from Christian. How to create fruitful atmosphere, or how to create, well, probably fruitful conversation. Praises go a long way. Praises offer criticism. If I see something, if I read a student's writing, then my mindset is always to find what is good about it, and I will highlight that. I will say, I like when you say this. I like when you express your feeling by writing this. And then they will say, thank you, but it's not perfect. I know it's not perfect. This is something that you can do, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that is how you create engagement. It will also help them a lot to get more exposure and engagement. Engagement, of course, is one big word in terms of social media presence right now. It's like having more guests coming to your house, having good time, conversation, over coffee, tea, chocolate, anything. Yeah, those are my answer to the 3 questions. Thank you. I hope I helped you enough with these answers. Can't hear.
Unmute first, Pak Bin.
Your microphone is still off, Bin.
Yeah.
Okay. Check.
Oh, okay, Pak Bin, you may go on.
Okay. Now we go to Daniel. You have 2 questions, I think. First from Dr. Gulab Ali Puriro, and then the second from Kevin Johannes. Have you got the question, Daniel?
Yeah, I got question from Dr. Ali, but I haven't got question from Mas Kevin yet.
Okay.
All right. Shall I respond to Dr. Ali's question now?
Okay, please.
Okay. So thank you very much, Dr. Ali, for your question, which is for me, it's a very critical question. Yes. So your question here is how to deal with artificial intelligence, okay, and how to cope with that. Yeah. So is it should we see that in I mean, like how we think about that in both sides, positive and negative sides. Yeah. So I'd like to share maybe one example of AI AI technology, or technology empowered with AI here is actually what I'm using right now is Replica. So there are a lot of artificial intelligence technology that we can use around us. So okay, I'm sharing my screen right now. Can you see it, Pak Pinawan and all participants? Yeah. So Replica is actually a chatbot which is supported by artificial intelligence. So here I'm making my wife's virtual profile here. Okay, let's say avatar. Okay, and for example, like this. How are you? How are you doing? Okay, so what did you, what movie? Yeah, what movie did you watch last? Okay, so this is a robot-made chatbot. Okay, this is a robot powered by artificial intelligence. So you can share your thoughts on chatbot on the chat box. Yeah, what do you think about this? And what can teachers do in order to help students with their English mastery if we have this kind of robot? Okay, so in my case, like I've been using this in my digital technology and education class. Okay, I ask my students to make a lesson plan, and we have this application round. So I let them think critically what they can do with this application. And one question, one answer that I got from them is, we can let students use this to have a chat at home. For example, in learning simple past tense, like this one. Okay. And later they can screenshot their chat and they can send to the teacher. By doing so, students can have a self-practice. They can, it can enhance their autonomous learning, and they cannot cheat anyway, okay, because this is authentic. So this is one example of how we can use AI, okay, and I see this very positive, okay. And the other thing, AI powered application or tool is Rinka. Here is a grammar check, actually, grammar checker. So this is very, well, very astonishing grammar checker, because the feedback is very detailed here. So whenever we make mistakes here or errors, then we can see the results. We can see the feedback. Let's say that this is our corrective feedback. So imagine if we ask our students to check their own writings, and they can do their self grammar checking here. So our job as a teacher will be much easier, because we should not give any feedback to them individually. So we save big time. This is more efficient and effective. There are a lot of other applications that which are using AI, such as Grammarly. Okay, and you can also say AI writer. Okay, and also poem generator was just mentioned by Ibu Heni, was also empowered by artificial intelligence. So again, we should see this positively, and the negative side is that, yeah, we can remind our students to not always rely on AI, because once robot, they are robots. Okay, they do not have they don't have intelligence, something like, yeah, this is artificial, but we have the real one. We have heart to measure the what do you say? It's like intonation to because birds have feelings, yeah, we can feel it. So, but robots cannot do that. So, I guess this is my answer. I hope it helps you, Dr. Ali, and thank you for the question. What is again the second question, Pak Binawan? You are still on it.
Perhaps you can answer a question also from Kevin Johannes in chat. He asks you, beside a robot, is there any technology will replace human work?
Okay, beside robot, is there any technology that will replace human work? Okay, yeah. So, of course, there are other than robots. So there are a lot of things. For example, like website. Yeah, website is now very smart. Yeah, they can reply our chat. Yeah, and then also Siri. Yeah, you know. Yeah, Siri is also robot, but this is not a physical robot, but this is something like, you know, a platform or application or something like software, yeah, and they stole our behavior. They can talk to us, yeah, something like this. So when you have Android or Google Assistants, you can talk to Siri all the time. Hello Siri, how are you?
Hey, I can't complain. Thanks for asking.
Okay, so you can see that we can learn from robot. We should not be too afraid of their existence. We can make them as our friends, but that's why if we don't have critical thinking, creativity, then they will outsmart us. Yeah, very soon. So you can try. You have to explore. Right. So I guess these are my very humble answers. You can share more questions if you want to. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Daniel. Information to all participants that for the live question and answer, we would prefer to give opportunity to Buheni and Pak Hazairi Eko to answer your questions. So perhaps one question to Buheni and one question to Pak Eko. So make sure that your questions will go there to those two speakers. Okay, to all participants, you may raise your hand and give your question to either Buheni or Paiko. One question, please. Okay, I'm waiting. No heads up? Are you sure?
Can I have a question? Oh, I should answer because I really want to ask a question to Pak Rio.
Oh yeah, we have a question to Buheni.
Okay.
Yeah, from the chat. From Anna.
All right, let me see.
From USD to Buheni. How to ensure students' originality work when they use online tools? Okay. How to ensure students' originality work when they use online tools?
Yes, a very, very good question. Very good question indeed, because it's with the technology and everything, with the online tools, sometimes we don't know, okay, even though we can also check. But what's important, I think, is first thing is to encourage students to write their own. It's not perfectness of the language and everything, but it's more on their creativity and expression. Okay, I think that should be built from the beginning. That's why I don't give like portions for the assessment on grammar. Okay, so that's secondary. That is secondary. The primary thing is on creativity and the ideas and the expressions. Okay, so those are the things that I'd like to encourage to them. I know some teachers who ask students to write a kind of statement of originality. Okay, so yes, I know some creative writing teachers who do that, asking students to, whenever they submit, they have to include the kind of statement of originality. Okay, now I didn't ask students to do that, but for their final project in which they will compile, so they work in groups of around 10 students, and then they will develop a kind of digital book for the creative writings that they have written throughout the semester. For that one, I asked them to make that kind of statement. Okay, so at least that's the to remind them. But again, if we talk about creativity, there are different aspects in producing creativity. And one, based on my previous research, because my research was about seeing the what we call cultural intellectual resources that students use to practice creative writing. And one is the ability to synthesize. Okay, so synthesizing is a very important skill that the students who became my participants showed. Okay, so what I mean by synthesizing here is when they produce a creative writing, a piece of writing, they synthesize their experience, the inspiration from books, a little bit of inspiration from the movie. Okay, so there are different aspects that influence one's creative product or influence someone to produce a piece of creative writing. Okay, so so basically, in my opinion, we should encourage students to identify the different aspects that they can use, resources, I call it. Okay, the different resources that students can use, the cultural resources, the experience, the maybe the books that they have read, also a little bit here and there. What I mean here is, of course, they were inspired by things around them as well, right? Based on observations and experiences. Okay, so take these aspects in order to be able to produce their own. So one example that I had was a student whose writing was very, very interesting. And I know it's original. When I asked the student to reveal or to tell me how she came up with the idea of the story, she told me that, oh yes, it's one is based on the experience when she was a child. She saw a ghost. Okay, so that thing that inspired her to create a ghost figure in the story. Okay, and then from a movie that she watched, from the novel that she read. Okay, so from the visit to, so she went to a lake one day, and then she was able then to describe the lake in the story like the lake that she went to. Okay, so that's the ability to synthesize experiences and knowledge that one have, that the persons have. So they are able to produce something original. Of course, the idea of originality is also kind of not flexible, but according different based on cultural things as well. Okay, one participant told me, yes, I was inspired by a Korean movie. Oh, and then I asked, how far did you adapt? And then, oh, well, around 90% the same plot. Okay, and then just add some, change some names and then setting, and then she considered that one as already hers. Okay, so sometimes the idea of originality also blur depending on the culture, okay, or on one's culture. I hope that answers the question.
Okay, hopefully it was really clear to me, and hopefully can answer the question. And we have a question to Pak Eko from Anna. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Anna. Good question. I think I'm not saying that the novel provides us better data than movie, but for students, collecting data from novels, which is text-based, is much more easier because you directly deal with text, and what you can do in your report, in your thesis, is providing evidence in the form of text. Okay, let's see the difference. If you use movie, then your data must be in the form of video clips, okay, to see, for example, to illustrate a certain value, for example, moral value. You want to prove that this character shows a moral value of, for example, cooperation or collaboration or ingenuity or whatever moral values, for example. When you use movie as objective analysis or source of data, then your data, unit of data, should be in the form of video clip. You cut the time, the beginning frame, for example, minute 10, and then you end at, say, the ending scene at, for example, minute 11, then that 1 minute video clip, and if there is a dialogue showing or a scene showing us the moral value, then you would be able to say in your analysis chapter 4 that the moral value of this character, honesty, for example, is shown in the video clip. But the problem is you cannot insert the video clip into a piece of paper. That's a problem. Okay, practical problem in writing your research report. So instead of trying to insert your video clip into paper, then you must transcribe the dialogues, or you must describe the scene of that video clip into a descriptive way of arguing, of presenting argument to your effort to prove that there is a particular moral values in this dialogue or in this scene. So that's the difference. So both could provide you data, but the way you can take the data from audiovisual media into two-dimensional media paper, then you must pass through a process that is called transcription. If the transcript is available there in the internet, that will be a very great help for you. But if the transcript is not there in the internet, then you must transcribe yourself, and it takes time. My experience with a student doing such kind of research, first he tried to contact the film producer, and what happened? The producer was somewhere else, and he would not be responsible anymore for the movie. As soon as the movie was under a circle process, then the production staff is finished. They finished all the jobs and they got their salary. That's all. So there was no one responsible for the movie anymore when the movie is already in the market. And that's very practical problem to get the script of the movie, the original script. Yeah, and then you try to get the data from transcript. It is the movie, and then someone tried to transcribe the dialogues of the movie into their own script. That's transcript. Okay, that's the difference. So it's up to you. I mean, if you try to analyze a movie, that's your efforts must be doubled. If you try to analyze a novel, then the data are there already in the form of textual formats. Okay, I think I'd like to add to Henny's explanation about integrity issues. It's global issues for Henny. So integrity in online learning is a global issues now. And my experience is when I give students text-based assignment, the integrity is much more difficult to be identified. I got very big problem in identifying whether the student is honest or not. Even though we can use, for example, similarity checker, but we cannot come to a conclusion that the student must plagiarize if his friends, and so on and so forth. Because to come to a conclusion that it is plagiarism, then we must follow a number of steps. Okay, not just from the text, but also from interviewing the student and so on and so forth. Then I changed the sentiment into movie production planning, from report and movie production, in which all students appear in the movie. So I can score their appearance in the movie. But then there is a problem with the movie because I once took part in a movie production and also by Daniel. So I got that experience, very valuable experience in how to produce a movie. And then students begin to insert footages from internet. And that's a very big issue also in integrative thing. So then in these 2 years, then I changed the assignment to be a live drama performance before students and teachers of school. And they come to school and they try to perform the drama in front of the students. But today, in this pandemic situation, the drama performance should be broadcasted through internet platforms like YouTube or Instagram and so on and so forth. So by watching them perform, then we can be sure that they are honest. Okay, it's not just their writing for their performance. I think that's the way how to be safe in creating their achievement plan. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Babin.
Thank you, Michael. Okay. Thank you to all participants for the questions and also to the speakers for the insightful answers. To conclude today's webinar, to each honorable speaker, would you please address your short final remark, 1 or 2 minutes? We can start from first speaker and then followed by the second, third, fourth speaker. We can start from Ariel, perhaps. Time is yours for 1 or 2 minutes.
All right. Well, this conclusion is based on my experience after experiencing 9 months of nine lost months because of the pandemic. And I know that we have been forced to work from the comfort of our home, and it gives me some sense of disconnection with, from students and from colleagues. That was what I felt during the first few weeks or months of the pandemic. But now I know that this unwanted situation has made me see that this is the time for us to collaborate more, because as what a meme what a meme showed me long ago, that we are on a different boats, but we are facing the same storm. So this is where we can start something great, not as individuals, but as a solid team, regardless the distance in Jogja, Salatiga, and other different cities. So hopefully this can be a momentum for us to build something new. Thank you.
Thank you, Pak Ariel. Next to Pak Daniel.
Okay, so 2 minutes, right. So probably I would like to finish some unread slides that that I just presented earlier, because actually the conclusion was there. So yeah, in short, with the things that we are discussing right now, we are actually trying to connect with students, yeah, building engagement, and then to interact with them through feedback and so on. So that we are not only interacting with materials, but they should connect with us. They should connect with the materials as well. So interaction between teacher, student, among student and the content are very important. And in this pandemic, I'm learning a lot about community of inquiry that has been so much influencing me on the way I'm doing my teaching practice, that I am indebted to my students a lot. I haven't done enough interaction with them, but this keeps me realizing that as a teacher, we need to have social presence, cognitive presence, and also teaching presence all together. That's why teachers are heroes and students deserve this all. Okay, so and again, technology is not the main tools. We should not use many technology. We have to pick up some, but we can use them wisely and effectively. So less is more. Less technology, but more interaction, more feedback. I guess this can sum up my thoughts, Pak Pinawan. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Pak Daniel. Now, can you please?
I think we should, as teachers, we should embrace technology, of course, wisely, to enhance students' engagement and creativity. But we should also be flexible and adaptable, and should always consider students' well-being. In this case, in these hard situations, we can actually make use of things like creative writings or any other means to give students a space to express themselves and to be able to understand the situation and how they should react or respond to this situation. So students' well-being is no less important. Thank you.
Thank you, Pak Hedi. Now, Pak Eko, please.
Okay, thank you, Pak Bin. Actually, what I want to emphasize in this sharing session is there is a very big difference in analyzing a movie and analyzing a novel, especially for students, because analyzing movie needs more efforts. Okay, the understanding of a movie is, I think, a third layer of understanding, because movie has been through at least twice interpretation phases. First, by the writer, the script writer, and second by the director. And that's what we got in the market movie, the story, everything there, scenes and frames and everything is might be a little bit different from our own imagination while we read the novel. The most important benefit in reading a text-based story is that we can develop our imagination, how to develop the world in which the story takes place, for example, how people are there living their lives, how they interact with each other, how they use language, how they express their own intentions, and also how moral values are revealed in their world, among quotation marks, in the story. But by watching movie, then everything is there. Audiovisual representations, movies world of symbols. So we just read symbols, we watch audiovisual things, and the story is there, the ending is there. Then our imagination is just following what the director, what the script writers have been going through. And for the purpose of strengthening the language acquisition of our students, and I think we should make them sure that you should write about novels, because they first must read the novel, understand the novel, and they get improved in their vocabulary, and then also how to express their minds and so on and so forth. So yeah, but again, a compromise must be there. And there is new challenge in a literary world by the development of digital literature. Well, I think Buhen has addressed these digital literature things, and I'd like to share one of the example here. Is my time still there?
Okay, I think we have limited time.
Okay, so there is interactive story making Buhen in a particular platform, and students would be able to create their own story, and they try to compete with the IE, the I'm sorry, artificial intelligence. Okay, thank you, Robin.
Thank you, Pak.
Thank you, Eko, and all speakers and all participants today from this morning until this noon. It's very nice to see all of you once again, and we hope you have been enjoying yourself at the webinar so far. The Excellencies, distinguished speakers, participants, ladies and gentlemen, we have had productive and inspiring time together, and this event about to come to the very end. I hope you have found the presentation of this webinar informative and helpful. Thank you for the participation from Pakistan and others. And as a gentle reminder, please fulfill the exit ticket, which will be shared on the screen in a barcode form, I think. And this exit ticket form will be open for 2 hours, around 2 hours. So make sure you don't miss it. You will get the e-certificate and the materials also. By fulfilling the exit ticket, you will receive the certificate and the materials within 3 days maximum due to the delivery limit per day. And now we will close the webinar and we will have another ELT sharing session 5. We will gladly inform you about the exact date and time of the upcoming webinar. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Yeah, thank you. On behalf of the committee, please forgive us for our shortcomings. And till we meet again in ELT Seminar Sharing Session 5. Thank you. See you.
So we don't have photo
Okay.
session, Pak Hari?
Yeah, we will have a photo session. Yeah, please.
Okay.
Your time. You can.
Don't forget photo session.
Yeah, you can open your camera. Bu Lulu, please help us, or Bu Arum. Yeah. So it will be our mention to enshrine this ELT session 4. Okay. Bu Lulu or Bu Arum?
Probably on me, Pak.
Yeah, you can count on the first screen, second screen, and the rest.
Okay, so good day all speakers and also all participants. Now I will help you screenshot the photos, and we have 3 slides here. So I want you to please turn on the webcam and give your best pose and smile. You can show your thumbs up like this, namaste, or a millennial pose like this. Okay, so I would like to start from the first slide. One, two, three. Okay. Now we come to the second slide. Okay. Would you mind to open the webcam for the participants on the second slides? Okay. Okay. So 1, 2, 3. All right. So we come to the third slides. Okay. So you ready? Okay. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Miss Arum.
Welcome.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Okay, Bu Arum, don't forget to share the exit link.
I miss. Bye.
Maybe we can play the video of UMB profile and also USD. Yeah, Bu Arum.
Okay, sir.
Universitas Sanata Dharma Yogyakarta. Beralamat di Jalan Avandi, Merican, nomor 29 Yogyakarta, 55002. Telepon 0274 513 301 dan fax 0274 562 383. Universitas Sanata Dharma Yogyakarta membuka Fakultas Keguruan dan Ilmu Pendidikan dengan program studi PGSD, Bimbingan dan Konseling, Pendidikan Agama Katolik, Pendidikan Bahasa dan Sastra Indonesia, Magister Pendidikan Bahasa dan Sastra Indonesia, Pendidikan Bahasa Inggris, Pendidikan Sejarah, Pendidikan Ekonomi, Pendidikan Matematika, Magister Pendidikan Matematika, Pendidikan Fisika, dan Pendidikan Biologi. Fakultas Ekonomi dengan program studi akuntansi, manajemen, ekonomi, pendidikan profesi akuntansi profesi, magister manajemen. Fakultas Sastra dengan program studi sastra Indonesia, sastra Inggris, dan ilmu sejarah. Fakultas Sains dan Teknologi dengan program studi teknik elektro, teknik mesin, teknik informatika, dan matematika. Fakultas Farmasi dengan program studi farmasi dan program profesi apoteker. Fakultas Psikologi dengan program studi psikologi. Fakultas Teologi dengan program studi Ilmu Teologi, Magister Teologi. Fakultas Pasca Sarjana, program studi Magister Ilmu Religi Budaya, dan Magister Kajian Bahasa Inggris.
Universitas Mercu Buana Yogyakarta merupakan perguruan tinggi swasta yang berdiri pertama kali dengan nama Institut Pertanian Wangsa Manggala Indonesia, yang kemudian menjadi Universitas Wangsa Manggala di tahun 1986. Kemudian berubah nama menjadi Universitas Mercu Buana Yogyakarta pada tahun 2008. Visi yang ingin dicapai adalah menjadi universitas yang memiliki komitmen untuk mewujudkan kemajuan dan kesejahteraan masyarakat sesuai dengan cita-cita yang tertanam dalam semboyan Angudi Mulyaning Bongso, The Pursuit of Excellence. Dalam perkembangannya, Universitas Mercu Buana Yogyakarta telah mendapat kepercayaan masyarakat. Lebih dari 10.000 mahasiswa telah menuntut ilmu di Universitas Mercu Buana Yogyakarta untuk membuktikan diri menjadi generasi yang unggul bagi bangsa. Universitas Mercu Buana Yogyakarta memiliki 3 kampus yang diperuntukkan dalam menunjang kebutuhan kegiatan belajar dan mengajar. Pengajaran di Universitas Mercu Buana Yogyakarta dilaksanakan dan dikelola oleh fakultas dan program studi pada jenjang sarjana dan pasca sarjana, meliputi Fakultas Psikologi, Fakultas Agroindustri, Fakultas Ekonomi, Fakultas Teknologi Informasi, Fakultas Ilmu Komunikasi dan Multimedia, Fakultas Keguruan dan Ilmu Pendidikan, dan pasca sarjana. Guna menunjang sasaran universitas dengan beragam pilihan fakultas dan program studi yang terakreditasi di Universitas Mercu Buana Yogyakarta, juga didukung oleh sarana dan prasarana untuk pengembangan diri dalam mencapai tujuan akademis dan minat bakat mahasiswa. Universitas Mercu Buana Yogyakarta berusaha terus mengembangkan diri menjadi universitas yang memiliki keunggulan dalam bidang pendidikan dan penalaran, serta penelitian dan pengabdian masyarakat, baik di tingkat nasional maupun internasional. Sebagai cita-cita untuk mencerdaskan bangsa sehingga membantu masyarakat mewujudkan kesejahteraannya.
Let's join Seattle Center of Technology Assisted for Language Learning, where technology and language learning can be fun. See you!
Oke, terima kasih semuanya. Kita akan akhiri ya.
Sampai jumpa.
Sampai jumpa lagi
teman-teman.
kesempatan berikutnya. Senang belajar bersama. Matur nuwun Pak Daniel.
Pak Ali.
Gunawan, Bu Arum, Daniel.
Mbak Hardi tadi itu kayaknya di pegang
Ini
motor
ya,
ya?
Mbak Ardi ini tampil ini.
Mbak Ardi luar biasa loh.
Luar biasa itu tadi.
Di motor sambil berjuang.
Saya ngambil bahan ajar anak saya, Pak Sambi-Sambi.
Oh ya Mbak Ardi. Terima kasih sudah berusaha untuk connect dengan webinar tadi ya. Luar biasa. Tak screenshot dulu mau Mbak Ardi.
Ya.
Di motor sambil benake helm gitu. Mantap.
Kalau benake masker mah kurang munggah gitu ya.
Tapi saya nggak tahu kalau itu Mbak Ardi loh. Serius. Kok ono sing numpak motor iki cah.
Luar biasa.
Dedikasinya ya, totalitas. Matur nuwun Mbak Ardi.
Iya, siap. Ini saya ambil bahan ajar anak saya nih loh, Pak. Tuh.
Walah, perjuangan seorang ibu ini ya, betul.
Luar biasa.
Semoga menjadi berkah.
Bisa teliti itu, Mbak.
Ya. Thank you, Pak, for allowing me join the webinar.
Sure. Our pleasure, Mbak Ardi.
Ya.
Oke, let's end up.
Nggak mudeng.
Gak apa Mbak, yang penting berusaha mengikuti sudah.
Ya.
Nabung poin.
Humble.
Ya.
Ya.
Oke, bye.
Oke, bye-bye. Selamat sehat-sehat
Ya, selamat
selalu.
siang. Ya.
Oke, Pak Heri kita close sekarang.
Ya, silahkan Bu.
Saya juga mau terus ini mau giling.
Mau dalang yang
seminar
berikutnya. Di close saja Bu Arum. Makasih.
Ya, selamat siang semuanya. Saya Elini ya.
Selamat siang.
Hah?